What's up everyone, Trent here. I've just come off a huge 10 episode binge watch of the new Netflix series, The Umbrella Academy, which is based off the comic book series written by My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way for Dark Horse Comics. Now, what did I think of it? Stay tuned to find out. If you are new to the channel, check out our other videos and our podcast, subscribe, and if you want to talk to us on any of our social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, follow us at Fortress Nerds. And as always, you're watching The Fortress. Okay, so the 10 episode series sees Reginald Hargraves adopt 7 extraordinary children. Well, 6 extraordinary children and 1 very ordinary child who form a superhero team in their teens, and an event happens that drifts them all apart. Flash forward 17 years, at their father's death, all the children come back together fully grown as adults after going their separate ways and learn of events that are going to be bringing on the apocalypse. That is a very, very simplified version of the story. It is quite complex, but really quite streamlined in the way it's told in this 10 episode series. I really enjoyed this series. It is great characterization, a fantastic adaptation of the Umbrella Academy comic series. Gerard Way would be very happy. Now, I cannot fault the tone of this. It is quirky, it is serious, it is kind of that really offbeat humor that is dark humor that blends so well in the dull and droll environment that you have grown up with if you've read the comic book series. It is not a vibrant series. It is not a superhero story that you would be used to. If I had to liken it to anything, I would liken it to Dark Horse's Black Hammer, which is no longer actually exploring the superheroics of the teens at a young age, but looking at how events have kind of ruined their lives or shaped their lives later on down the track with flashbacks to those better days. Now, there is some great characterization in this story. Ellen Page actually puts out one of the performances of her career. She starts off really dull and boring and kind of monotonous in the way she speaks, but she grows into one of the best characters in the series. Tom Hopper, he is fantastic as number 1, or Luther Hargraves, and we just get a really great dynamic between each of the children. They all hate and resent each other, but they have their really close relationships that you see between specific characters. A lot of the dislike and a lot of the contempt is given to number 7, who has spilt the family secrets in a tell-all autobiography, which eventually just drove the family apart after the death of one of the children, Ben. We get a lot of flashback sequences that show this kind of progression throughout the 10 episodes, and it really adds a lot of depth to the tone and what we see the characters going through. The standout characters for me were Ellen Page's number 7, Klaus, and Diego. Really strong performances by all the cast involved. I really enjoyed the different takes on the characters. Klaus is just this really eccentric drug addict who has the ability to communicate with the dead. It's just such a fun series, even though it shouldn't be as fun as it is. It's just a really great twist on the superhero genre. Now, this series is riddled in mystery, and as you go through the 10 episodes, some of these mysteries unfold, but then more and more mysteries start to occur. We don't learn why the 2 assassins have come back to eliminate number 5, who has the ability to time travel, and went forward into the future to see this apocalypse happen, which sets forward all these events in motion from episode 1, the end of episode 1. We get Mary J. Blige and Cameron Britton as Cha-Cha and Hazel respectively. They are fantastic. They add a great level of tone. They're assassins who've been sent to the past to hunt number 5, but they complain every step of the way, saying that there are cost cuts and they have to live in these dingy motels. It's just such a fun series. I really enjoyed it. The music, it sets the tone, it sets the bar. From the very first scene where we get Ellen Page playing a violin version of Phantom of the Opera, you know straight away what that song represents. It represents doom. And there's actually, I think it's in episode 3, a chandelier falls down onto Tom Hopper at one point. And you just get to see a lot of great characterization and a lot of great banter between all the characters. It's really awesome character exploration. And I was immersed in it. The episodes were hour-long episodes, and at times the pacing was off. It was very slow, and it demanded your respect to pay attention to everything going on. not everything was explained through dialogue. There were key scenes and key moments where you had to pay attention to some of the scenery and some of the items that are kind of in frame or what they're viewing to kind of get context of what's going on. So if you weren't paying attention, you may really find yourself struggling to follow the plot. And that's not a bad thing. When these kind of shows happen where you have to pay attention, give it the proper respect that it deserves. Although at times it is a struggle to maintain that attention. But that's a minor gripe with an otherwise fantastic series. 10 episodes. I wanted a lot more from this, and I can't wait to see what season 2 brings. The plot, really great twists. From episode 7, it just continues on and just goes full throttle. Some really great visuals, strong character dynamics, and yeah, I loved the tone of this. The soundtrack is fantastic. I am still buzzing from everything that I saw, and I didn't think I would because it is quite a slow-paced series, but there's enough in there to keep you entertained and to keep you focused every step of the way. Now, in terms of cinematography, there are some fantastic camera angles and the way they kind of focus on different characters. Ellen Page's character, for instance, because she's the shunned child, you get to see a lot of camera angles focusing from above or below, kind of twisting and distorting her perspective to make her feel like an insignificant character, a very ordinary character. When you see Klaus in his kind of drug-added state, there's a lot of really big zoom-in angles and pulling out perspectives to represent the drug use. Some great set pieces. The actual mansion, the Umbrella Academy itself, is huge. It looks like this lonely, desolate, miserable place that really plays onto the relationship between Professor Hargreaves, the father, and how he treated these kids. And they were treated terribly, but more mysteries come through and you get to learn why this happens throughout the series. It is just so good. It's a great character exploration with amazing visuals to go. Some of the costumes are quite, television budget, particularly Tom Hopper's kind of bodysuit. He is the space boy with the man-ape body. But you get a really great representation of a CGI monkey in Pogo. And it's just, it's really fun. It's something different. It's quirky. It's unique. It's not something that we've seen really explored on TV. It has that X-Men and Doom Patrol dynamic, but you'll learn straight away that this is much more focused on the adult side of that and how they've grown up living that superhero life and drifted apart. All the character interactions are just amazing. I can't speak highly enough of this. Aside from some of the pacing issues, this is an amazing series, and yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved every second of it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts of Umbrella Academy in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you think it was a faithful adaptation of the comic book series? What characters were your favorite? You had 7 to like. Well, actually even more if you add in the assassins and the father and Pogo. It's all fantastic, and I can't wait to see more. Anyway, I'm Trent. Follow our handles at Fortress Nerds. Subscribe to our channel, and yeah, as always, you're watching The Fortress.